Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shifting Forward, Effective Leadership in Changing Times. My name is Ann Skinner, and I am a certified leadership and executive coach, speaker, and trainer with the John Maxwell team. I am also a certified transformational coach and a certified hypnotist. Many of you know me because I have been very involved on and off over the years in leading age. I have over 20 years background in the long-term care industry and more than that in the healthcare industry. I currently do have a full-time position and I work with a company that works with home care agencies and home care registries in the Florida market and the Southeast. I'm very excited to be here with Leading Age. It's a wonderful organization who always brings out the best in everybody and really helps those seniors in our community and in the state of Florida. So thank you all for being here, and let's get started. So shifting forward, effective leadership in changing times. You know, it's been a long year, hasn't it? And I know that all of you here have worked 24/7 to keep your communities, your families, and all of your loved ones safe. You've always been the best of servant leaders, and I want to take a moment to honor you for that and hope that you take the time to praise yourself, to give yourself the credit that you deserve for the lives you've saved, the people you've touched, and the wonderful change leader that you've been during this time. You know, we've all been through so much. All those that we work with, our families, our communities, everybody's just been through so much. So many changes, so many challenges and opportunities, and yes, so much loss and grief. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about digging into what you've learned, how you shifted and adjusted as new unexpected events arose, what your organization learned, how you and your team members grew. This is going to help give you insights in how to use this information to set a plan, an intentional plan, shift forward personally, professionally, and move your organization forward with new insights, visions, and the flexibility necessary to keep up with the changes as they come. Understanding and embracing change, increasing the capacity of yourself and your organization, adapting and dealing with change. These are all keys to moving forward and thriving in this age of unpredictable change, disruption, uncertainty, expansion, and ever-growing competition. In the last 18 months, especially in the long-term care and healthcare world, change has not only been constant, but massive and often completely unpredictable. Unexpected events are surprising and are overwhelming many healthcare leaders and their teams. I mean, let's be real. I don't think there's a person on this planet that in the last year hasn't been overwhelmed, exhausted to their soul, unsure, confused, even often shocked. Heck, so many more emotions and fears that not one person, let alone a whole collective, should be experiencing, especially for such a long period of time. As I prepared to speak with you and reflected on this past year for myself and my family, I kept trying to find an eloquent way to put things into perspective, how it seemed, you know, this great picture. But you know what? All I could come up with was whack-a-mole. I kept seeing that whack-a-mole game where I used to take my grandkids to Chuck E. Cheese and that little mole would pop up here and pop up there. I didn't know if he was coming or going. I didn't know what was going on. The world seems this way quite often for me. I know we all see it differently, but I suspect that we've all been that whack-a-mole at least once in the past year. Though we are all experiencing all of this, We must remember that each individual, though they experience the same thing, they are being affected in a whole different way. And their perspective could be completely different than yours. So this is one thing that I've seen as a huge opportunity going forward to be able to really reach these people and help them to be more passionate, be more alive, and be more dedicated. So as we go through today, it will be very important to remember as we go forward and to begin to look at shifting forward that everyone's coming from a whole different place, different experience, a different perspective. And often what I'm seeing in my clients, the people I meet through my work, and the people out in the world, I'm seeing a deep need for connection and deep conversations. So many people feel alone and isolated in their thoughts and fears, and they honestly just want to know they're not alone. They want to know that what they're seeing or what they're feeling, other people are seeing and feeling. So we must keep an open mind and an open heart with all the people we come in contact with and with those around us. As leaders, we need to have the deep and often challenging conversations so they can release what's affecting them, know they are okay, and so they can feel safe and cared for and confident to move forward in their job as servant leaders in your communities. This is going to help us move the needle forward more quickly than anything, building relationships stronger, building stronger teams, and in return, seeing more loyalty and all-in attitudes in the communities and employees. And we all know once you've got that rolling, people want to work for you and people want to stay and people want to help. It is contagious once everyone's on the momentum. Complacency and how we always did it can have no place at a time when both healthcare regulations, technologies, and consumer behaviors are changing so rapidly. Facilities, leadership, and their teams must know where they are, where they're going, and learn to remain flexible and able to foresee change while adjusting and adapting quickly, always shifting forward. Shifting forward requires that you, your organization, and your teams are present and aware at all times of what is happening in you and around you. You must remain flexible and open to all perspectives, listening to your and others' inner guidance while welcoming challenges as a time for growth, collaboration, and shifting as needed. So my goal is to help give you a small roadmap and tools for shifting forward and continuing the momentum no matter what comes up. These should be used and adapted starting with your personal experience, thoughts, and truths. From there, you'll want to begin again with your professional and leadership role and look from that perspective. And then you want to be looking from the perspective of organization and team as a whole, adapting the activities and concepts as needed. We'll be going through the process of debriefing and reflection. We're going to talk about identifying your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges, as well as many other things. We will define your results, and then at that point, intentional planning will be key for the rapid movement forward and growth and success of your business. You will have tools throughout, and there's tools in the workbook. And at the end, you're going to have an opportunity to receive a free ebook on leadership, as well as an opportunity to get a monthly newsletter that is on leadership as well as inspirational. And you will also have the opportunity to be put into a drawing to win 3 free coaching sessions with me. So let's get going. Debriefing. Again, it's been a whirlwind this last year. How many have actually taken time to really debrief? Your head's probably still spinning. I know we're not totally out of the woods yet, but it is a good time to debrief and start learning and growing. Successfully debriefing is beneficial for all and means having solid and meaningful reflective questions at the end of a journey or in the context of the past year and the event COVID and all that came with it. Often overlooked, this debriefing stage is probably the most important of all the steps after a crisis or unexpected event. After all, the idea behind debriefing is to gauge what happened, pinpointing areas for improvement, increasing self-awareness, recognizing any limitations, strengths, weaknesses, and more. It's imperative to debrief and reflect on, excuse me, what changed, how effective you were, what worked, what didn't, and to discern what could have made things better. What should remain the same, change, or what new can be implemented now or in a future unexpected event to make the journey forward even better. I highly recommend that you also take a look at the emotional impact on yourself and your employees and determine ways to bring a healthy balance back for each individual as your organization as a whole. In the 15 Laws of Growth, my friend and mentor, John C. Maxwell, discusses the law of pain. The law of pain says, good management of bad experiences leads to great growth. This law can be a tough pill to swallow because pain is something we naturally avoid. But this law is about teaching you and I how to turn our bad experiences into positive steps leading to our success. So I thought this would be the perfect place to start. So let's try this again. I'm going to do a little experiment. We've all had bad experiences, and let me guess, nobody here likes them, right? So I know this is a video, but if you could put in the chat or just sitting at your own table, raise your hand if you love bad experiences. Now, I'm no fortune teller, but I would bet you any money that no one in this room likes bad experiences. No one in this Zoom room, no one at your home really likes bad experiences. So we'll try again. Drop a yes in the chat or just raise your hand where you're at if you like. If you like bad experiences, it's interesting. My experiences in person, typically there's nobody with their hands up unless there's that one guy, there's always that one guy or that one girl that just wants to say yes, 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 because no one else is. But we all know that nobody likes bad experiences. So, okay, how about if maybe kind of, sort of, wouldn't mind a bad experience or two? Could we all sort of agree on that one? Anybody out there? I suspect there's many of you that have your hands raised. And I suppose because most of us here are a type A warrior type, we are gluttons for punishment or something, right? So having had a bit of a tough life and a bad accident that left me in pain for almost 7 years, I personally have learned to thank pain. I now see it as my friend. It tells me where there's something wrong, something I might need that I didn't know about, something I need to do, or sometimes I believe it is what keeps me from things that wouldn't have been a good choice at the time for me. Remember, all is perspective. When and if we can see all sides, or we can change perspective, we can use anything that seems bad as a stepping stone for growth and wisdom. The law of pain, John Maxwell quotes John McDonnell in the chapter on the law of pain, saying, every problem introduces a person to himself. Think about that again. Every problem introduces a person to himself. The bottom line with the law of pain is that everyone's had bad experiences. But what not everybody understands is these bad experiences, if we handle them right, are what will help us grow. As John McDowell says, every problem introduces a person to himself. When we have a challenge or a problem, we have to step up. We have to pull something new from deep down inside us. We have to figure out what's next. And I know that in this past 18 months, you had to stretch yourself more than you probably ever thought that you could. I will say I've not met one person that's not had bad experiences in the last 18 months. I've not met one person that's not been afraid, confused, overwhelmed, sad, lost, hopeful, and hopeless, all in the same moment. Let's face it, as strong as we are, I would bet money there's not one person here who did not feel an array of feelings, floods of any or all of these. It was and still may sometimes be unavoidable and creep up on us. Some of us run from bad experiences, do whatever little bit they can do to deal with them, and others embrace them. No matter what, still, we couldn't and we can't avoid them. But in that last group, the group, those who embrace pain, change and challenges, those are the people, the leaders, the warriors who choose to learn from difficult and very challenging experiences and use that experience to transform their and others' lives. I know that those of you here in the long-term care and healthcare industry, you are all in that latter group. And I want to thank you for your dedication and sacrifice these last 18 months and all of your career. You are the true servant leaders. You are what this world needs more of. This year has affected everyone in a multitude of different ways, big and small. And it's important, again, to take the time to reflect on what is really going on inside of you, your colleagues, your team members, and remember, there is so much going on under the surface that must be sorted out, acknowledged, and managed or released, or it's going to be harder to shift forward if everybody's not flowing in the same way. Most of you know me and that family is the most important thing to me after God. Well, my birthday is July 31st, and my oldest granddaughter is just a couple days before mine. So every year we take a week or several days together to just have fun. But I had been told this year it just wasn't going to work out. You see, she's struggling a bit with the idea of being too far from her parents after some very close losses in the family in the past 2 years. She's worried about being away in case something should happen to them. Yes, we have to remember our children have suffered much too during this time. So at the very last minute, my granddaughter Stella and her parents decided they needed a break from each other. So I offered to take her to SeaWorld and Aquatica for 4 days. Just fun and adventure. We had a blast, playing with dolphins, soaked by the whale, dodging raindrops, and heart-to-heart conversations. Did she get sad? She sure did. She had some really rough moments. But this time, I decided to do with her what we will discuss today. I helped her feel and transform her feelings. I helped her take a look at them and see if she was really grieving what she thought she was, or actually, did she just not have enough to eat? And she was too young to understand the difference in the feelings. I helped her to feel and transform them and to take back control. I taught her the very simple yet powerful breath work that I had come to use every day. You take 4 breaths in. Each breath you count to 4 as you take it in, and then you hold it for 4, and then you exhale for 4, and then another breath in. Again, doing this 4 times. This helps to reset the nervous system. And one day, poor Stella, she was very sad and upset. So I put my hand on her heart. And as she was crying, and trying to do the breaths, I prayed over her, acknowledging her pain and asking for comfort and release. As she calmed, she said, "Grandma, thank you so much." And I saw the pain had lifted. This was something I'd never done that she knew of. I've always prayed over them, but this was a real transformation for her, or the beginning of one. And to make a long story short, just before we got to her house, after that long drive to Tallahassee, I asked her, "So what was your favorite this week?" I was expecting to hear, "Playing with the dolphins. Oh, I've never been able to touch a dolphin. This was amazing." But no, what she said shocked me. She said, "I liked how you calmed me down when I got upset." Yep, that was it. Not those dolphins, not the water park, not the roller coasters, not her favorite restaurant. Just, "I liked how you calmed me down when I got upset." Wow. I think my heart exploded. And at that moment, I knew that the one thing I really needed to share with you today was how we make people feel and how they could be feeling right now, and how to work with that along with ourselves. We're meant to help others and to make others feel good and safe. The whole world needs more of that. Which brings me to my last SeaWorld story. So one night, Stella and I were at the park very late, and we decided to walk through the beluga whales. And inside was a baby walrus. We got in just before the park closed. When we got there, there was a family there, and their daughter told Stella to sit by the window because they had been there a long time and wanted to leave. But this baby walrus, he just really loved company. So if you take a look, I love this. If you see on the left side there in the picture, he's got something there on his first, I'm going to call it a finger. It was a little tiny shell. And you can see in the next picture, he's trying to show it to Stella. She's just getting comfortable sitting next to him. But he would take that shell and he'd put it up until your hand touched it. And then he might put it in his mouth and spit it back out and catch it and put it back up again to where your hand is. He literally just was craving so much love and attention. You see that little guy? I think he missed us. I think like we've missed the connection and being closer to people. I think that the whole world has missed that. And we're just finally coming back together. And then as they got closer, he came to the window and they got down there and she put her hand up and he'd bring up his hand to hers. So I just wanted to remind you again, this is a key part to moving forward, remembering your own inner feelings as well as those around you, and knowing that that's going to be a key in moving forward. What a magical time this was. So next step, or first step, after debriefing on what's happened, and again, you want to go through your personal first on all of these, and then move into professional. Some people will do the two at the same time, but I still think it's better to really focus on each step, yourself, then professional, and then your organization. So it's really important to reflect and dig deep. All these reflective questions below are meant to be pondered deeply and discussed thoroughly. In a safe environment, the insights gained will astound you. What's more, they'll also boost communication and critical thinking skills once you get to the process of working with your organization and team members with this. So let's take a few of these. How did I change the way I saw myself this year? Often our habits and choices reflect our self-concept. So how can you complete this sentence? Compared to last year, I am the kind of person who blank. What is your self-concept this year? Are you more confident? Are you more flexible? Or are you more fearful? Are you living in fight or flight still? It's really important to identify where you are, what you're feeling, what's happening. How did you show up for yourself this past year? How could you have supported yourself better? Are you taking care of yourself? Did you eat right? Did you drink enough water, get enough sleep? Did you exercise, and do you exercise your mind and body? And did you take any time for fun? So as you reflect back, and I'm talking from today back, go through all of this. How did you manage your stress? Did you practice good breathing and stress management? Or did you find that you were out of breath because you were holding your breath in fear? How did you maintain a positive focus? What processes or habits did you use that actually worked? And what didn't work? What else could you have used? Again, this is going to all help you with your plan. What were the most useful resources you had? How did you lead and show up for others? How did you redefine success? And how did you build others up? And lastly, I really love this. What am I grateful for experiencing or learning during that time? What were those experiences that you're grateful for? What did you learn that you're grateful for? Who did you meet that you may be grateful for? There's a lot of good things, I'm sure, that you'll see came out of this time. And then how will I live, work, and lead differently now? Once you've gone through the reflection stage, then we go right into identification. And here, after debriefing and reflecting, it's time to identify some of the things specifically that will help you move forward. You have to be specific and identify what's really going on so that when it's time to intentionally set your plan, you have all your insights and tools to expand yourselves in your plan. So first, you want to identify your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges. There's multiple questions you'll want to ask yourself that you'll be able to find in the workbook. And if you run out of questions, feel free to reach out. I am pretty good at that. After you've done the swap, then we want to look at change. What are necessary areas of change and or growth that you can identify now? Do you need training? Does your staff need training? Do you need personal development? Maybe professional development, a coach, a mentor, an accountability partner? What changes do you need to make in and around you? Way forward. So what is your objective for yourself, your career, your leadership, your organization, your team? And is it a SMART objective? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And then at the very end of all the questions you'll find in the workbook and more that'll come to you as you're digging in, I want you to write a new story. So first, if you were to talk about this past year like a story, how would you write it? What would you say? That'll help you uncover some things. And then what do you want your story to be going forward? How would you rewrite your story moving forward? Will you love yourself more? Will you be kinder to yourself and others? Will you be more confident? Will you give yourself more grace? Take more breaks? Will you finally travel and explore or train for a race? This is where you dream. This is where you dream for yourself, for your professional life, and for your organization. They will all come together once you've done the work. Another one of my great questions that I always love is, how will you live differently and lead differently because of this past year or this past 18 months? What have you learned about yourself? What matters most to you and how you want to live in the reflection of your values? What do you hope to hold on to in the form of practices and processes? What do you need to release or resist? What has liberated you? And what has made you feel that you were in your sweet spot? Our deep commitment to long-term hope is more important than ever. But hope is not blind optimism and must be forged with more than just escapism or distraction. So I encourage you to continue seeking growth, development, and your forward plan. Because when we have a plan, when we know where we're headed, it is so much easier to live our greatest lives and build our greatest businesses. So do you dare to ask the hard questions of yourself and others? It's important. Who, what, why, when? And the biggest question, is this the authentic me? Learn who your authentic self is and then live that way. And when you're not sure, ask yourself, is this the authentic me? You want to question everything and dig deep. I think if there's one big lesson this last year, it's time, health, and freedom are precious. And we need to listen to our inner voice, shut off all the fears, doubts, mixed messages, others' voices, and finally find our own true north. And when we find and create that for ourselves, our careers, and our organizations, then we will be living in our sweet spot, and life will be more fulfilling than ever. Plus, it's always easier to shift if you are living the life you are meant for and that you love. Almost every man wastes part of his life in attempts to display qualities he does not possess. I'm not sure who wrote that, but it is a truth, and I believe it's a bigger truth now than it has ever been. You've got to look closely at, after these life-altering events, take a look at yourself, your team, and actually at your organization. Reflect back on, where did you excel? Where did your team members excel? And what did your organization truly excel at in this time of emergency management and changing priorities? Are there things that maybe you should delegate and focus more on that you excel in? What did you see in your team members that you never noticed before? Where did they rise to the occasion? Where did they excel and get in their zone? Is there a reorganization needed? Do you have your people in their best roles? Are you and all your team members serving in their strength zone or their sweet spot? This could make great changes in your organization. You may find that there's someone working in the assisted living who really is more suited for the nursing home, or someone who is a receptionist who has the people skills to be giving tours in the building, not just answering the phone. It's really an important spot to take a look at. What is your sweet spot? What are other sweet spots? Maybe the pieces fit differently now. Really take a good look at yourself, everyone and everything, and ask these and other questions as they come up. What has changed for my team members, and how will this affect their work, their attitude, their ability, and their skills? What are their personal circumstances, goals, dreams? Do they have new skills? Do they step up in unexpected ways? So many things that you can work on here. So now I'm going to play a short video from my mentor and friend, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Joe is amazing. His work in neuroscience, quantum physics is nothing short of miraculous, teaching people to heal themselves and collecting the data to prove it. In this video, he gets to the heart of change and shares basic tools to begin to change your life and assist you to work through the process of shifting and leading forward.
Hi everybody, Dr. Joe Dispenza here. I want to take a moment and teach you some basic tools to begin to change your life. When you invest in yourself, you invest in your future. Number one, take some time out of your busy lives to disconnect from your world. Shut your cell phone off, turn the TV off, power down your computer, sit your body down for a few minutes and close your eyes. Number one. Number two, take some breaths and center yourself. When you center your attention into the present moment, you have more energy to create with. When your mind wanders to the predictable future or the familiar past, that's normal. Just become aware of it and keep working on settling yourself back down into the present moment. When you're in the present moment, you're the most creative. Number three, ask yourself, can I be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past? What do I want in my life? And take the time to answer the question. As you begin to contemplate and think about the answer to the question, you're changing your brain. When you make your brain fire in new sequences and new patterns and new combinations, that's the beginning steps of changing your mind. Next, decide on the emotions you'll feel when you begin to create that future, and teach your body emotionally what that future is going to feel like. And don't get up until you begin to feel those emotions. Next step, step number four, rehearse in your mind who you're going to be when you open your eyes, the things you have to do, the choices you have to make, the steps you have to take, and review them over and over again. Number five, you can't go to the future holding on to the biology of your past. Decide what thoughts you can bring to your future. Write them down. Thoughts like, I can't, it's too hard, I'll never change, I'll start tomorrow, what's wrong with me, it's someone else's fault. Decide on what behaviors or actions or unconscious habits you have to change. How do you talk? Do you complain? Do you blame? Do you make excuses? Do you feel sorry for yourself? Just become so conscious of those behaviors that you'll never go unconscious again. And lastly, you have to decide what emotions no longer belong in your future. That means if you want to be wealthy, you can't take lack. If you want to be healthy, you can't take insecurity or fear. You got to begin to condition your body to a new mind. If you do this every single day, your personality creates your personal reality. And your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. Change any one of those things and you change your life. And begin to measure the effects of you it cause. Give it a shot.
So I love Dr. Joe. I'm telling you, his stuff works. So go out there and research him. If you want some more info, feel free to reach out to me. So we've only got a few minutes left. So once you've handled all those questions, you've found all that data, you've done all your debriefing on the last year, it's time to actually take a step back and define those results. After all your hard work on personal and professional life and organization goals, now you need to begin to define and bring the new vision together and plan the necessary changes and improvements. I've got 7 steps here to define your vision for your life, your career, and your organization. You need to really stop and get into your heart and soul and bring it into view what the perfect life for you would look like. No matter how far-fetched it may seem, if your soul is longing for it, listen, it knows the answer. So the first step is going to be take a step back. When you feel stuck or you've been in totally unforeseen events like COVID, take a step back. Often we try to get unstuck by pushing forward with sheer force or just trying harder. But as Einstein said, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. So this is why, in defining results, taking a step back has already been done. So now you've got all that data. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. The next step, you want to reconnect with your why. Oftentimes, people have a hard time moving forward because they've lost sight of the bigger picture and what's important to them, or they've lost their why. You know, as I thought about this, I thought, isn't it quite possibly true that with this massive event, that quite possibly our why has actually changed? Maybe it's bigger. Maybe someone's decided instead of a nurse, they want to be a doctor and they've chosen a new path. Maybe it's family and, you know, that's your priority now, not just work. So you want to find a way to get some balance between the two. You know, why did you start the career you're in the first place? What reasons, values, or passions drove you to make the changes in your life that you already have? And what picture do you have for yourself, your organization, and your team? So reconnecting with your why and seeing how it's changed and grown is real important. Next, you want to be specific and visualize. It's hard to move forward if you don't fully understand why things are the way they are or why they might work a different way. You have to be specific and identify what's really going on. You must name it to tame it, as they say. A well-defined problem presents its own solution. For example, there's a huge difference between I feel stuck because I'm overwhelmed with the details and I feel stuck. Or I feel stuck because I'm worried what people are going to think of me. Once you name what it is, you're more likely to be able to tame it and keep moving forward. One of the most important questions that I ask my clients is what's getting in the way? When they answer, the next question is always, well, what else? No, what's getting in the way of you moving forward? What's getting in the way of you being happy at work? What's getting in the way of you not being to work on time, talking to your employees? It's really important to ask those pointed questions of yourself and others. Uncover the underlying issues that are getting in your way and stopping you from progress. You can do this through journaling, talking to someone who knows you well, simply taking the time to ask yourself the questions. What's getting in the way? Next, you can brainstorm options. This is a great one. I love brainstorming. I'll tell you, my creativity really flows when I'm around a like-minded person, someone who's creative and excited. Brainstorming always opens my mind to new ideas. So really find those key people that you can dive right in with and, you know, work through different things and come up with new ideas. And then take a break. You know, your body and your brain need a break. We could all use a brain break when we're stuck. Shifting our focus gives our brain a chance for quiet. Takes the pressure off so we can come back with a fresh mind and a new perspective. When you take a break, refreshes your thinking and helps you discover another solution to a problem or see a different situation through a different lens. And the brain actually helps to create anything that helps you relax and flow. So taking that brain break is really going to help you to not only be creative, but it's going to help you to relax. And when you come back to what you were doing, it'll help you flow and really move forward. So if you are a meditator, I highly recommend you check out Dr. Joe's teachings and meditations as well. I've actually worked with him personally, and I'm headed back there in September. Those have really helped me to get more grounded, more focused, and stay on task. In the debriefing and reflection times, you should be able to identify what isn't working and what needs to be released, which brings us to number 6, release all that isn't working. Let go of those things, those habits, and those processes you may be doing that really aren't working, and replace them with good habits, good things that are moving you forward to your vision. And last but not least, practicing gratitude. You know, a great way to begin and end the day is with a gratitude practice. Maybe journaling or writing 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for in the AM. And then at bedtime, looking for 3 to 5 things about the day that you're grateful for. This will totally shift your mindset. It'll engage you in a much more servant attitude, as well as help empower you for the day. Gratitude just really reminds us of our blessings and helps us to bless others. And action. Getting into action is critical for moving forward, especially after an event like COVID. There's no substitute for momentum. Action enables further action, while inactivity creates inertia, self-doubt, and confusion. Successful people know this, which is why they continuously push out of their comfort zone, as I know all of you have been doing this last year and a half. Simon Sinek has said, if we think of everything we have to do, we feel overwhelmed. But if we do the one thing we need to do, we make progress. So start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Often the more we think about change and moving forward from a new focus and vision, the bigger the process can feel. This is the time for your plan. This is a time to bring everything together intentionally. Intentional living means making conscious choices, taking aligned action that will help you to get closer to where you want to be in your life, career, organization, and how you want to show up each day. It's about defining what you want your life, career, and organization to look like, and having a plan to move you towards that life. And this is where you take all that you learned, you rearrange the pieces in alignment to you and your organization's mission, values, and vision, and not only have a more efficient plan for any unexpected events, but when we do this type of work and really are passionate, our heart and intention into all of that we do and all that we are, we will be amazed at how we up-level ourselves, our teams, our organizations, and seriously shift everyone forward to an authentic, compelling future and success. When you come from that place, you will be a magnet for success, and everyone will want to be a part of your team, and everyone will want to live in your community. This is community, heart-centered, authentic, servant leader living. Successful forward mindset and actions of an organization or project can be directly linked to an active and engaging leader who champions the way forward, leads the change, mitigates change resistance, and builds organizational alliances. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. And the way forward, the way to empower others, the way to mitigate change resistance is to do the processes yourself, grow yourself, and that will grow for your team and help bring them on board. Developing your plan. You know, there's many life plans, business plans, marketing plans, you name it plans. You can Google or DuckDuckGo them every day. But each of us is unique. Each facility is unique. Each employee, each resident or patient, and of course their family members too. This must be taken into consideration when planning and moving forward. Your plan needs to be developed through your vision, keeping in mind your values, mission, and passion. Plan authentically. Authenticity attracts the people and experiences you're looking for. Authenticity puts people at ease, makes people want to work with you, live in your facility, be loyal and dedicated to your mission and plan. Authenticity is when we are working in our gifts, building and creating passionately. This is forward leadership. So I want you to remember honest and frequent contemplation, assessment, change management, developing and fostering exceptional relationships and open communication, plus a willingness to embrace change, adapt positively to disruption, and or disrupting yourselves in your marketplace will keep you and your organization in a constant momentum forward and being always ready to rise together to unexpected and often unfamiliar events. So keep pushing forward by taking consistent action and revisiting the questions often. As your life changes, you need to continue to question and move higher and higher. And then don't forget the basics. I can't tell you this one enough because I'm challenged by it. I'm challenged by hydrating. I'm challenged by breathing properly when I'm nervous or stressed or in a hurry. Listen to your heart. Be kind to yourself. Ask for help. Surround yourself with those who inspire you to be better. Live authentically. Stay authentic, happy, and forward thinking. And always, always take time to be grateful for yourself and for all that you do, because I am grateful for you. Thank you again for joining me today. I hope that you've enjoyed yourselves and that you will give these ideas a chance, that you'll do the work for yourself, for your family, for your coworkers and friends. I can't wait to hear how this has inspired you. And once you've used it, please reach out and let me know how it went. And of course, if you need some assistance, please feel free to reach out at any time. Now for your homework. Be sure to print out the workbook and keep the questions handy, adding more as you think of it. You will find the more you ask, the more you will want to ask. And then be sure to email me with your thoughts on today's presentation. If you'd like to join my monthly inspiration, life, and leadership tips mailing list, and I will also forward you with your email telling me about what you thought of today. I will forward you a free leadership ebook and also enter you into a drawing for a chance to win 3 free coaching sessions with me. So I want to thank you again. God bless you all. Stay safe, stay happy, and really, really stay authentic. Thank you.